Anime is like a treasure trove. It is littered with so many valuable items that will satisfy your desires and some items that deserve to be thrown into a hot pool of lava. But there will always be gems that offer way more value than your regular gold crown, and that is the exact same feeling I got when I started watching the Fate anime. For a while I've been watching Fate and praying to God that my brain can make sense of the series. It did not. So instead I'm making this video to talk about my experience and thoughts about watching Fate so far, but I still haven't gotten to Fate Grand Order yet. I'm not watching Fate Extra Last Encore, so far I've watched Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night at least 2006, which I barely remember watching, Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works animated by Ufotable, the Heaven's Feel movies, Fate Khaled Liner Prisma Ilia Oath Under Snow, and Fate Apocrypha. This video is not going to be an explanation or analysis on the Fate series, and this video possibly, no guarantee, contains spoilers. I mean, you guys are watching me, so you already know what my IQ level is at, 999. So let me lay down the basic premise of Fate. There are mages living in secret within society along with the Mages Association where they practice magecraft. I don't think I need to explain how magic works. Yeah, so you see this pretty and totally not so harmful book with coherent language. I want you to study every single detail in this book for the next 364 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59.99 seconds. You're gonna see some pretty things and gonna kiss the toilet about 200 times because you're gonna be getting sick. Enjoy! Every 60 years there's a war with Pokemon and Battle Royale mechanics mashed together to make the Holy Grail War. 7 mages are chosen as masters where each gets to summon a heroic spirit from the past as their servants. Both the servant and master form a servant pact where they work together to defeat other masters and participate in the war. But to make sure that the servants do not do anything bad, like say for instance backstabbing, masters are given 3 command seals where they use a 1 command spell in order their servants to do whatever the masters want. Wait a minute. There are 7 classes of servants in the Holy Grail War. The Saber class being a powerful servant class, Archer class where archers are really made up of archers, the Berserker class to which nobody knows why they go berserk, the Rider class having 1 rider in particular that will be the rider to mine, the Lancer class is one that keeps on dying, then you got Caster class and Assassin class which can be flatlined by a hippopotamus on a Good Friday morning because the defense has to be totally terrible. There is technically 1 more servant class called Rulers, but they're not servants. They pretty much make sure the Holy Grail Wars go smoothly and nobody breaks any rules. Well, they absolutely failed at their job. It's worth knowing that not any mage or any heroic spirit can participate in the Holy Grail War. You see, they have to have a wish that they want the Holy Grail to fulfill, and most of them are ass. One dude wants to become the hero of justice. I can't believe that I have to be uttered out of my mouth. One tsundere is fighting to win, and one guy wants to end humanity. Plot-wise, each Fate anime dives into psychological and ideological themes. The most generic one of all is being the hero of justice that Kiritsugu and Shiroemiya share. Fate Zero leans more into questioning one's ideologies. For instance, King Arthur, who was summoned into the war as a saber, wishes to undo all the atrocities of her past, but she gets on by Ryder, Gilgamesh, and Kiritsugu himself. Your own master. Dang, that's tough. Ryder in particular thinks that Saber is not fit to be a king with that wish, and simply does not know what being king truly entails. You know, the thing about soldiers dying to defend their king's honor, and undoing it is like a disrespect to that said honor. Kiritsugu destroys Saber's perception of war and hell by saying that the battlefield is hell. Yeah, no kidding, Sherlock. Then you have Kirei Kotomine, someone who generally has no heart inside of him and struggles to understand human happiness, so the only form of happiness that he gets is seeing other people suffer, because why not? As for Kiritsugu, he has a warped ideal of being the hero of justice, killing one to save others, and preventing the worst case scenario from happening instead of thinking about the best case scenario, because to him, destroying the worst case scenario is the best case scenario. But every time Kiritsugu acts in this way, it often costs a lot, like he had to blow up a plane where he had his mentor that was filled with very friendly and totally kind bugs that will not poison and flatline you in a couple of minutes. Another good example is when he was sucked into the Holy Grail after, let's just say, a magical technical difficulty. He refused the offer that the Holy Grail made to him and instead opted to destroy the Holy Grail by forcing Saber to use her noble phantasm against it. To put it in a Genshin Impact player's terms that has played the game for 500 hours, Saber used her ultimate and destroyed the Gnosis. Also, did I forget to mention that the Holy Grail was manifested using his wife's body as the vessel? You see, the Holy Grail can't be called out so easily. It needs to have a vessel that is suited, which in this case was Irisfield von Einsberg. But yeah, she dies either way. I mean, she's a vessel of a corrupt wishing device. The events of Fate Zero was like a prequel to the Fate Stay Night events, where the 5th Holy Grail War takes place in the same town again. Remember when I said that the Holy Grail War takes place every 60 years? Well, the 4th Holy Grail War was a major bust, so they had to redo it 10 years later, where Shiro Emiya will join against his will, because like any other fatherless MC that gets roped into a battle after seeing things he was not meant to see, he was gaslit into joining despite his lack of knowledge about the Holy Grail War and magecraft, and proceeds to get bodied multiple times, all in the name of being the hero of justice. Fate Stay Night has multiple routes that explore Shiro's ideals and different heroines with more so different plots. The Stay Night route focuses on Shiro wanting to become the hero of justice by trying to get the Guinness World Record on the amount of times that a main character should have died but survived. King Arthur Saber was summoned again into the Fuyuku 5th Holy Grail War as Shiro's master. She got that Emiya family pack. You have Rin Tosaka entering the Holy Grail War because she's fighting to win, with a servant called Nameless as Archer, who totally does not have an itching urge to flatline Shiro because he hates him and his ideals. Kotomine is the observer of the Holy Grail War and the bad guy of Stay Night, and is Lancer's master. Lancer gets unlucky throughout Stay Night, holy crap. Caster fighting unfairly in the war. Ilya, the next vessel of the Holy Grail, being the master of Berserker aka Hercules, with a broken noble phantasm that makes him practically impossible to flatline. And Gilgamesh is back once more to make Saber ride his Excalibur, and to attain the Grail for himself. Shinji Mato, Shiro's childhood friend and a son of a who is Rider's master but not Rider's master. I'm trying not to spoil this, so I'm gonna keep it as it is there. You'll find out later when you're watching Fate. And Sakura, who was forgotten in Stay Night and barely focused in Unlimited Blade Works route. So the remedy for that is to give Sakura 3 freaking movies! Stay Night focuses on Saber being the main heroine and the basic ideal of Shiro being the hero of justice by making Saber not fight because she's a girl. So his solution is to speedrun getting flatlined. Unlimited Budget Works focuses on Tsundere Tosaka and Shiro getting confronted with the embodiment of his ideals, because Rin's Archer is future Shiro from a different timeline where he won the 5th Holy Grail War, who wants to game end Shiro to destroy his ideals, because I guess having a sense of self has left the chat. We ain't gonna talk about Saber being used by caster like this. Kotomine and Gilgamesh working together to get the Grail again. Shinji is a son of no, Rider has died! Ah! Shiro and Rin going on dates with Saber being the third wheel and more. Heaven's Feel takes a different approach. Heaven's Feel, huh? More like Sakura feels. Shiro's Excalibur. Same spiel as the previous Fate Stay Nights, except Kirei likes Mapo Tofu, Unlimited Budget Works, Saber turns Alter, different assassin, yikes he looks ugly, Rider gets more screen time, Sakura's Field decided to take the same approach to a Black Ops 6 patch update, nerf the absolute hell out of Rin, Archer, Caster, and Gilgamesh. They nerfed Gilgamesh! No! No more Unlimited Blade Works? Caster got flatlined early? I don't give a shit! And what the f this is? I'm trying my best not to spoil the anime for people who haven't watched it, but I think in the process I'm confusing you guys. The Heaven's Feel route is more darker than the other routes, focusing on Sakura and her bugs that send her into mating season. Out of all the Stay Night routes, Heaven's Feel got a more happier ending with the gang surviving, except for Ilya, like mother like daughter. Rider gets to stay, even more happy news for the man behind the screen, and Shiro gives up his dream to protect Sakura, unlike the other counterparts. Character-wise, Stay Night Shiro is bland. end, Unlimited Blade Works Shiro wants to be the hero of justice, even if that means that he has to be a mindless robot with no sense of self, but not because of some generic backstory, but because he was inspired by Kiritsugu and wants to become the hero of justice for him since Kiritsugu couldn't achieve that. And Heaven's Feel Shiro wants that Sakura blossom. There's also a Miyu vs Shiro Emiya where he is more like Archer Emiya, but this took place in the Fate movie Khaled Liner Oath Under Snow, and it isn't Stay Night, and I'm only reviewing Stay Night. To summarize, Oath Under the Snow, Shiro went through a series of events that include losing his close ones, which resulted in the Shiro Emiya that got bodied less than his counterpart, with a more cold demeanor similar to Archer Emiya from Stay Night. Each Stay Night series, including Oath Under Snow, explores Shiro's ideals of being the hero of justice through different angles, with the harshest one being the Unlimited Blade Works path. There are multiple endings in Stay Night in the games and the light novel, but the anime themselves don't dive into all of them and just only go into the true endings as far as my knowledge goes. Archer Emiya is definitely on my list of coolest characters in the anime. Archer has his own flaws that even Shiro knows are wrong. Archer's ideals of the hero of justice ended up betraying him as he realizes that a dream like that is too unrealistic, and the execution he took was one far worse than Kiritsugu's. Face it, man. You can't win in an argument against yourself. Rin is the best tsundere. I will never see Sakura the same way again after Heaven's Feel. I hate Shinji, he's a dick. Lancer has died. Totamini likes Mapo Tofu. I like both Stay Night Rider and Fate Zero Rider. Fate Zero Rider was just fun to watch every single time. I just love his carefree personality. Rider Medusa is the rider to my Excalibur. Saber likes eating a lot. And Gilgamesh is honestly, in my opinion, an enjoyable character to watch. The animation is great across the board. The fight scenes are amazing, and the soundtrack are just a pleasure to my ears. My issue with Fate Zero is that it was super slow at first, but was forgiven later on in season 2 because it set the foundation of what's gonna happen later on. Stay Night Shiro was bland. I wish the fight scenes in Oath Under Snow were better because they ran a little too fast. Granted, it is a movie, so maybe that's why. As for Unlimited Blade Works, I only got to see some development between Shiro and Shiro, since they were pretty much fighting on their beliefs on the concept around being the hero of justice, but not much development was there for the rest of the characters. They pretty much stayed the same throughout. And in terms of where you should start, Stay Night is a better introduction into the Fate series since it explains more than its prequel, but honestly, you can start with either Fate Zero or Stay Night. It's completely up to you. Actually, go eat a dick. Does it really matter at the end? Like I said, Fate will be more psychological and ideological than what some of you may have thought initially. I will preface and say this, that Fate is not completely perfect. There are some flaws that Fate has in of itself, but regardless of those flaws, it is worth watching if you are tired of the newer stuff. I now have a lot of respect for the Fate franchise than ever, and more respect to the fans who understand Fate, because I still don't. I'll definitely review Fate again, but once I'm done with Grand Order, so subscribe for that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I deeply appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video whenever that is. Catch you guys later.